going live. We're going live. You're live. We're live. Gotta wait for people to pour in, first of all, but it is live right now.
Yeah.
I'll be muting myself.
Fine.
There you go. There's my chat. Get that going. Wait till some people get here.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I can hear Grant.
Can you hear yourself talking, guys?
Yeah. I need to turn this down. There we go.
But you can hear yourselves on the video, right? You're watching it. Hey, someone's here. Hey.
Oh, that's for him.
So Lukso breaks out. Bam, 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 bam. Look at this.
Go full screen.
Ian,
Bottom right.
take it away. Describe what's happening with Lukso. Where are we going?
Well, here I have it on the 24-minute chart, which to some people is kind of odd. Let me zoom out to the 4-hour here. So we had our high at $27. That was a very nice uptrend. You know, you put out some of your past videos around $1, $3. I think the last video you put out we were ranging between $7 to $10, somewhere in here. It was like about 8. Nice healthy uptrend. We broke it. Whoa, what did I click on? Broke this uptrend. We've been consolidating, having some chop. Now, I have a fib retracement up from the high at 27 down to this. This was actually a pretty significant level if you look back here. There was some previous highs. I think it was like from right here. But I was tweaking this to see, you know, this is actually the golden pocket from here, the 618 to the 382. It's kind of flipped because I have the extension on so we can see our target. And this is ultimately where I'm looking to go. Now, if we're looking, this is kind of a little bit longer term, but on the short term, if I zoom in, we were putting in a really nice ascending triangle, bullish pattern. I got 2 targets marked off. This one, extrapolate from here. That's kind of your first target, around $22. You look left, we pinged it from that last YouTube pump. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of been a pretty choppy area right around $22. Now our second target puts us right back where our all-time high was, $27. So at that point, you know, we'll reevaluate, we'll have more data, but in the short term, we're looking really good. Put in a nice big double bottom here and here. So looking really healthy. You know, is this the last chance that, again, to buy at these prices? I think, you know, getting above this $20, right? These round psychological numbers, $20. If we get over this, we may never see bulk prices below $20 again.
Yeah, I'm having that feeling that this was the bottom, but you know, you can never tell with these things, you know, like maybe it'll break down or whatever, but Lukso is such a strong project and it's fundamentally, from a fundamental standpoint, undervalued. So I wouldn't be surprised if it was to break out soon, you know, because it's just, you know, one of the core Ethereum, you know, builders that's behind this project, you know, and they have like 3 months left, if I'm not mistaken, on when they're Lukso has 3 months, 2 to 3 months left before its mainnet launches, and that's usually the time period for some really bullish news momentum to start building, like, you know, so it might steadily build that momentum. But I can't imagine it being calm when it goes to all-time new highs. So it's probably, like you said, just going to break straight to 40, you know. So.
Yeah, and that actually, you know, if I'm considering this to be, the market tends to move up in like 5-wave patterns, and I'm seeing like a nice big impulse 1, and we had our 2. So if this is for sure our bottom, and we break that 20, we don't come back, and we form an impulse wave 3. That's my short-term target. But again, like, you know, you mentioned before, the fundamentals can do crazy things with altcoins, and that's kind of why it can be tough to chart altcoins. You know, a fundamental news could rip this thing very, very high. Yeah, and then my TA, you know, goes out the window, and this just becomes one big parabolic uptrend, and that's just becomes a blip on the radar.
Yeah. Like early on in Luxo's history, like I don't. It was Luxo, Polkadot, Kusama, those kind of projects. They were breaking their technical charts, because what that is that means it's just telling you that it's going to go way higher. Like that means there's more activity, there's more money coming in when the technicals are broken. Technicals happen, from emotions and that kind of thing when there's like not a lot going on from the fundamental side, but sometimes the fundamentals break the technicals, and
yeah, exactly. And we have Celsius next. I mean, that's pretty much wrapped up for Luxo there. But these points, I kind of want to lead into Celsius next, because it's kind of the same thing, right? Like you're putting in this nice big macro pattern, and it just like none of these patterns down here. I didn't even start noticing these, but if you remove it, I mean, you're looking at all this price action up here. This doesn't look like much down here until you start zooming in and noticing all these different patterns that have played out in the past. When you start back testing these targets that we hit, they just lead into pattern after pattern.
Yeah.
People start turning into a parabolic run.
People ask me if it's too late for Celsius. I mean, my target.
Absolutely not.
Yeah, Celsius is going to be a major player. Alex Mashinsky. This is literally the technology we're using right now is voice over IP. Like our voices travel across the internet, and he's the guy who came up with the technology to do that. This is So Celsius, to me, it's an international company, so that's more more users right there, and they have a very strong token model. My target for them is like 300 billion. It take 5 years, 10 years to get there, but I'm very Celsius is something I'm accumulating.
I think they're right around 2 billion now, right?
Look at that chart. Celsius hasn't gotten love in a while. Like the other alts have been performing really well, but Celsius maybe sees some price action.
Yeah, absolutely. We are definitely coiling up for a big move on Celsius. Now you mentioned a target at 300 billion for the market cap. It looks like they're sitting at about 2 billion right now.
Right. I'm thinking this is a 100xer. Like Celsius is still a 100x coin. Like
no doubt.
No, it could take 5 years, 10 years for that to happen, but.
In the short term, where I see us going here, it just looks like a nice, healthy bull flag bull pennant. So if we do break to the upside, like I do, I mean, you're going to see a lot of these same patterns going from whether it's Bitcoin, Ethereum, Luxo. A lot of the charts are going to start to look the same, but they tend to break out at different points. So when we come back to Celsius here, yes, it's getting coiled up. I think the whole market is due for I think April's going to be great, and my ultimate price target is 984. And what I found interesting here too is this lines up perfect with this fib retracement here. If we take this last breakout of this last pattern, we had a nice flag here, and it's just over and over again these fractal patterns. I keep seeing it where these flags, they break out. You take your extension up here. Look at this, the 1618. This is that golden ratio of the Fibonacci. If you're not familiar with the Fibonacci retracements and patterns and charting, it's amazing when you start back testing and seeing this stuff. But this bull flag pattern lines up with the 1618. That's where I see we're going. Obviously, long-term holders, doesn't really matter. I mean, we're kind of trying to give both perspectives here, because personally, everybody has their own trading style. A lot of your fundamental research is great for investing. When you want to look at short-term price action, and maybe you want to get in and out and make some trades. But my
personal strategy is 80-20. Like I'm 80% fundamentals and 20% chart. Like I use charts to say, is this a good time to enter? Should I be listening to myself right now, or should I wait? That's the kind of thing I use charts for, like the short-term entries, and that could shift your position 20%. Because these charts have big moments. And you could see when it's like Celsius. If I didn't have any Celsius, I would be like, okay, like this is time's running out. It looks like it's about to explode.
Yeah, absolutely. And so when I say that this is a target price, that means if you're a long-term holder, what that means to you is you could potentially see some chop in here. You're gonna see traders taking profit in here, so you don't got to be worried about when we get up in here and see some chop. We're still golden for long term. But that's just, for in the future, that's what I'm expecting to see here. I think that the short-term targets, you might even see some chop come in if you kind of take the measurement of just the triangle. It comes in right in here. So my next target on Celsius is about $8 to $10. That's where I'm looking to go in the next, month or two. I'm thinking we're going to see some more parabolic upruns from Celsius here.
All right. Here, I'm gonna go with my audience and talk about Algorand real quick. All right, guys. So I did put out an Algorand video. I hope you guys got a chance to check that out. Algorand, I'm very bullish on in the short term from a fundamental standpoint. They're crossing the 50% issuance threshold, and many times when a project reaches that point, you can see strong price performance because of the issuance is no longer making a huge negative pressure on the price. And also, like, Algorand has it has a $200 million Algorand Foundation fund. And, rumor is that one of these, rumor is on the street that, they're going to be having a major announcement soon. So I did pick up a significant amount of Algorand, and I think, to you guys, that's some of my advice. And then Celsius, this was the Celsius interview. Celsius is releasing a credit card soon. And you could buy things with that credit card. It could build your credit, and you won't experience taxes. So it's like cashing out, but it's taking a loan against a collateralized loan automatically using the Cell credit card. So you can use your card regularly and you won't be taxed. It's kind of like you're not selling your crypto, you're taking a collateralized loan against your crypto. And then your yield pays for the interest. Your yield from the Celsius app. So this is very bullish right here. This is an amazing thing. Nothing like this has existed. Also, accredited investors in America can earn and sell pretty soon, and that's going to be a lot of money that'll cause for sell pressure to go up. And as you just saw, the technical analysis shows that Celsius looks very bullish as well. And I think I don't know. And they said there's major exchanges coming down the line. So that was from this video. And then Kusama, I'm still bullish on Kusama. I think it's going to go exponential. Actually, we can look at Kusama's chart. You got that pulled up, Ian? Let's take a look
I
at
got that one ready here.
So look at that. It's just solid bull, like you said.
Yeah. One thing to note, I do have my candles on Heiken-Ashi, so it does smooth the candles out. You can see back here, we had a nice symmetrical triangle, broke out to the upside, and you kind of mentioned this earlier, like the fundamentals behind Kusama are really just making it almost tough to chart. And we kind of explained some of that before. So there's a lot. You explained there was some fundamental news coming up. Maybe you could touch on that a little bit, because I still don't completely understand.
So the
what's
fundamental
coming down the pipeline here.
So the reason I'm bullish on Kusama is they have something like in the Rococo testnet, right? In the Rococo testnet, they have they're doing the parachain auctions right now. Like they're doing the candle auctions on Rococo, which means they're proving the validity of the code. And so that means when it moves to Kusama soon, you're going to see large amounts of Kusama locked and taken out of market for these candle auctions. So from a price performance perspective, we've never seen anything like this, like these huge lockups of tokens. And this is some of the prices that we could see. We could see 1,400 plus. I think Kusama is going to go exponential from a fundamental standpoint because of the candle auction causing perpetual lockup of tokens. These lockups will happen every 2 weeks. Tokens taken out of circulation every 2 weeks. So that's, Kusama, very bullish on that. And you can see the chart is like something you've never seen before. Like it's like this insane bull chart. Well, I think it's going to go exponential. And so, I haven't sold any yet. Maybe I'm crazy, but I'm going to wait until it does go exponential. And Look at this volume. Like with the volume, when you see the volume go crazy, that's when you know it's close to the end. I don't see that volume picking up, so.
Right, right, and this is kind of one of those projects where I noticed something in the TA here. So let me show you. Like I'm seeing this divergence on the momentum. Okay, when you see price go up and you see momentum come down, that can mean we are getting to a top. And I did see we pinged 500 today. Now I'm not saying that's a top. And if I gun to my head and I had to bet, I would probably go with your fundamental analysis on this one, where I think what you're going to see is a rejection. This divergence might play out, but very little. The dumps are very little. I think it's going to get eaten up. I think it's going to get eaten up, and maybe we create a double bottom, because I do see this uptrend that we kind of broke. We kind of retested it, wicked above, hit 500. That's a very round psychological number. But I think ultimately the fundamentals are going to keep eating these dips up. And really what I see here is I think we're entering another channel, because there's some other styles of TA that, if you've ever seen Gone fans, they look like this, and you kind of start to run into these different channels where, it does take a little longer and longer to start spiking up, but that's just natural. This is one of the healthiest projects. It's from a technical analysis standpoint, it's very strong. I mean, it just every pattern, it's nonstop. It's not.
Yeah,
and so
and I think the fundamentals are on the back end working on that too. So
if it did pull back, it's hard to. I was measuring some different points here, but if I do take this, say this was a top, the ultimate bottom would be. Let me actually flip this around. So I wanted the bottom 62. I seen was a nice bottom here, because that was like previous all-time highs. It flipped and turned into support right at 62 in the past. So that's where I'm measuring from the bottom. And if I expand this up to the top here, the 618 lines up perfectly where we had tons of chop right here, right in the center of this last pattern. So it's just something to be aware of. Like if we did top out here, I think is unlikely, but the golden pocket would be between 230 and 330. It's just something you got to look at both sides of the coin here.
Absolutely,
on technical
absolutely.
analysis.
So that if that that could happen. This is crypto. Anything's possible, man. You could see a dump and I'm super bullish, and then like the market will smack your face around. So it's entirely possible.
Yeah, it's just something to be aware of. When money flow is peaking and you're seeing divergence on momentum, you got to be aware. I'm not going to be buying at 500. Right? I'm not buying here. Okay. But where I would buy is when this does get over 500. When we see a little bit of chop here and we see this kind of spike up, just like we did, at 400, at 300, same thing. Once we see that, hey, I'll be buying again. Or if we come down. So I'm waiting. I'm on the sidelines on KSM because I don't already have it. If I had it, I'd be holding. Not financial advice. I'm just some dude on the internet.
Yeah. All right, and then switch back to some fundamentals, just like one of the things I researched today. So this is George Gammon's channel. I suggest you guys watch that. And he, I just thought this was an interesting question. He asked, this guy's a Bitcoin maximalist, Nick Carter, and a funny question that George asked him was, he said there's a double standard in that everybody thinks that Bitcoin's going to win everything because it's entrenched in or because it's already well entrenched, right? Well, he said if that argument exists, then why would Bitcoin replace the dollar? Because the dollar is well entrenched, regardless of how well the token fundamentals of the dollar are, it's already well entrenched, And so this guy's argument was that Bitcoin can't be replaced because it's already entrenched, right? Even if there is better technology, it doesn't matter. Bitcoin's already entrenched. And I thought it was funny to see his reaction when that question was asked. And so, it's just, there's no misrepresentation of the ideas in my mind, because I know that something can be replaced. Everybody's confident that, Bitcoin will always be the top. And maybe it will be. Maybe Bitcoin will be always at the top, at least, or in our lifetimes, or long enough for it to matter. But it was just an interesting point in that interview. And then this is Blockchain Brad. He was talking with Ocala, and I want to show you guys. Like some people ask me, how can we get into this Ocala token? Well, here, this is what you'll do. Like, you'll come to this polkadotjs.org website, and you'll go to get the extension. And you know, I'm actually doing it right now, so you download it for Chrome, like, because I haven't added it, right? Add to Brave, add extension, and you'll have, you know, your Polkadot extension, and then you'll go to, you know, this Polkadot connection to right here. Understood. Let me continue. Yes, allow application access. So you'll come to polkadotjs.org, you know, app. So just type in polkadot.js, right? And you'll come here to Kusama. Switch to Kusama. And, you know, you'll have it set up in your wallet too, you know. I haven't created a wallet, but it would be connecting if I did. And this is where, you know, you'll find your information about participating in those sales. And so this is where you'll come to look for those candle auctions if you want to participate and get those Ocala car tokens. So that's where you're going to be looking, you know. But obviously, like, we'll see how things develop with that. All right. And I think that's it for the live stream right now. Everything I wanted to go over. Unless we have another thing to chart. Oh, Algo?
Did we look at Algo? Yes.
Let's take a look at Algo before we take off.
Okay.
Do algo and also do some Fala too. Fala pumped today pretty good.
Okay. We can do that. We're taking it live.
Again, Algo putting in a similar, you know, big bullish triangle like Celsius. You know, some of these charts tend to look the same. Algo, 2 price targets here. You know, I got the extension from the triangle. If we do breakout, we'd be looking around $2, $2 there. The whole flagpole, if we measure, let's see. Again, I think I measured this one from the previous top here. Or actually, it was this one right here, right at 35 cents. We had some previous chop. When we broke it, we kind of downtrended for a bit. When we got back above that and found some support, it just lit. So I think that's where I measured my fib from. I had a fib from down here.
Yo, one of the commenters is asking to take a look at UFR as well. So we'll go over that one as well. We'll see how UFR is. Because UFR is like,
we'll take a look.
We'll look at the minute chart for UFR because it's you know, but that one's going to be
so new.
It's so new, but you know, obviously we're very bullish on that one. So, but Algo's got fundamental news coming down the lines, you know, so it's
okay. And this was something I wanted to point out too. When you look at Algo's chart here, this went pretty damn parabolic. We went straight up and came down. Look at the retracement on Algo when we did that from wick to wick. That was 54%.
Yeah.
And I kind of wanted to compare it to some of these other ones. Like, you look at KSM's dumps, it just has not gone parabolic at all. These are like 10, 20% dumps. You know, it just, I don't see that parabolic blow off tops, you know, yet on KSM. But looking at Algo, it did kind of put that in, and it's putting in a really nice pattern here, something I can actually chart. When you do pull down, it retraced right into this golden pocket. Look, 618 to 382 from this low to this high. We chopped, we're consolidating. It's looking really healthy. We're gonna looks like, you know, we're coiling up to break, most likely to the upside. It's just the overall market, right? As long as you got to pay attention to Bitcoin, so we should probably take a look at Bitcoin.
right. Let's take a look at that.
As long as the whole market's doing well, I can expect us to break to the upside. And where are we gonna go? I've got couple targets here. You know, first target $2, like I said. Next one's gonna be 2.25. The 1618 comes in just under $3, 2.75. You know, 278. So that's your short-term targets. Long-term, you know, that's kind of on you with your fundamentals and market caps. You know, I don't know long-term, but short-term, that's looking great.
Fundamentals are saying that, look, in these closing wedges, you know, like the chart could break either way. Well, fundamentals are suggesting that it's going to break higher. So So we're going up, baby. All goes going up,
Oh, yeah.
at least in my opinion. You
Oh,
know,
yeah.
anything's
I
possible.
like
guys.
it. I like earning interest. It's great.
Yeah.
Let's see here. We got BTC. Pull up some BTC. And I'm on the 4-hour once again. I'm really zoomed out. Let's see, BTC. Oh, we're back above 56. Okay, so 56. I did have that marked off as a pretty significant point. 56, 58. If we're holding here now, this is a couple different patterns here, right? So we do have a swoop and a swoop. I could potentially be seeing some inverse head and shoulders right here. You know, this is kind of 56 is kind of a rejection point. If I take a look at the money flow and momentum, we could have bottomed. We got these double bottoms on this momentum play out when you're looking at this on a 4-hour. If we crack up, maybe we don't put in a head and shoulders, and this is just kind of an awkward double bottom, at least in the short term. So Bitcoin 56 above 55 and 56, it's great. You know, that's healthy. I think on the 4-hour, the money flow is looking great. You can see when we go red, it's just for a bit, and then you get these waves. That's kind of, you're trying to ride these cycles, right? Money flow in, money flow out, money flow in, money flow out. Money flow's coming back in. So I think April's going to be looking good. All this momentum here got broke. We had all this downward momentum, and all that already played out. We kind of had price consolidate, and then I think we're kind of done chopping. I think we're going to be seeing some moves in the next coming weeks here.
All right, we'll take out.
It's on Bitcoin.
We'll take a
What
look
was the
at
one UFR.
We're gonna look at UFR and then we'll look at Fala. Grant wants to look at his Fala.
Okay, I'll do Fowler first because I can do that right here.
And there's also like I've been hearing that some of the OTC desks are being inundated with massive order flows for Bitcoin. So Bitcoin is be bullish as well, as you said. So entirely possible.
So this is where altcoins can get tricky. When you see huge wicks, oh boy, that's a text. When you see huge wicks up like this, that's kind of some exchange fuckery right there. So when it just makes it difficult to chart. I mean, I can still kind of like cut some of this off.
You know what that tells me? Like when I see a wick like that and it's still moving up, I mean, and you see the volume too. That looks like to me like that's one of the fundamentals being broken, and that means we're going much higher. That's from my perspective.
Sure, and even back testing on follow. So this is in a chop zone from 80 to 40 or so, let's call it. And this is this triangle. I love back testing this stuff. You can see this played out pretty almost to the exact dollar, right? If you were to measure this. And these are always zones, right? You don't ever go with an exact dollar because you get crazy wicks and stuff. So you always want to take profit before these targets, right? So this target was $1, So and then you see a bunch of chop. Everyone took their profit and it cooled off. And so where we're at now, I already had this kind of drawn in here. It looks like possible double bottom, and I kind of had a measure stick here. But who knows? I mean, this pattern's only real short term, in the next couple of days. I think we hit this target. I think we're holding over $1 all day today. So really, if I come down to the lower time frames, let's take a look. It's hard to call it on these lower time frames. That's just so much chop because it's so not Bitcoin. It doesn't have $1 trillion in it, so.
So take a look at XDiet, and I've been hearing some bullish news about that as well. Shane from the audience wants to see that one. XDiet. I've been hearing XDiet is going to be working with some apps as well. So I don't want to go into any more. I can't say more than that. But XDiet obviously, he says major cup and handle. That's what he's saying. So let's see the handle, cup and handle.
I don't know. Am I on the right chart here?
Is that XDiet? Stake.
XDiet stake.
That looks like a cup and handle. That is a cup and handle, right? Like you have this.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's pretty big. It's pretty massive. It looks like two individual towers.
Yeah, and you can see like I kind of had this wick off,
Mm-hmm.
and sometimes on altcoins you kind of just gotta ignore the noise, right, and try
Mm-hmm.
to look past and see these patterns. But yeah, that's a pretty dang good cup and handle. I don't look for these too often because they're hard to spot. You
Mm-hmm.
know, if you're W's and just triangles are just simple patterns to see. But yeah, that is a
Mm-hmm.
it's a nice looking cup and handle. So yeah, obviously your
Typically,
cup
it's
and
saying it
handle.
should break out from. That's the technical says that that
Yeah,
should break out.
yeah, and you kind of have something like this. So we're kind of pinging that bottom.
Mm-hmm.
So in the short term, come back to 23. Might see some chop in there. Who knows? Or we
Mm-hmm.
break. We'll see what happens at that point. But yeah, that's looking nice. What's the money flow? Let me see the momentum in money. Oh, we're bottoming on this money flow. You want to buy in the red, right? I mean, buy in the red,
Yeah.
sell in the green. It's looking like it's on sale. All right, that's everybody. This whole dip happened. I'm like, hey, I text everybody, hey, we got discounts. Go shop and browse, start browsing for good deals. I mean, if there was a couple that I seen like Ring and Swap. Hey, I mean, Ring right now is still a great deal, right? So on the 4 hour, we're still making. We had this impulse up coming down. If you look at Swap, Swap did like the same thing, impulse up and came down, but it already broke its downtrend, right? It already broke
Swap
that
looks like
downtrend.
Luxo, right? A little bit. That almost looks like Luxo.
Exactly. So that's what I'm seeing. They're all, yeah, exactly. Look
Look
at
at that. Same.
And
Same.
that's
Fundamental. These are fundamentally strong projects. They show the same pattern.
exactly. It's like I didn't sell in here. No, I'm buying when I
Right.
get the opportunity down in here. Same with Swap or yeah, Swap. When I seen this break, yeah, I bought more in here. We're doing great. We were pinging 4. We need to get back above 4, and I had some targets on Swap even. What was that? $8. And it's at 4. That's a nice. Yeah, that's looking great.
So what's the last one we were gonna look at? We just looked at
UFR.
UFR. Let's take that UFR, baby. Let's check it out on the
Okay,
minute.
so I gotta pull over to Dex Tools. Take a look here.
We probably do 5 minutes for it now because it came out of that. At 44
Um,
cents.
Yeah, we're at 44 cents. Yeah, now that I can't, the 1 minute's no good anymore.
Yeah, in my opinion, UFR is probably gonna step up. Like it's probably gonna break out. It's balanced out. 44 cents.
So that's a lot of chop.
Yeah. Well, that's because
Hey,
it's
we're starting to
got
we're
low
starting to make a
liquidity.
pattern here. We had our impulse up. I know our high was 62.
Mhm.
Let me see if I can. Yeah, I think I can chart this. Hang on a second. Let me zoom out a little bit more now that we got some more data here. Because I have this circled, that's when we were like started even watching it. So now that we have all this more data, I can actually zoom out a little. Let's see, we're looks like we're making some higher lows. Okay, kind of consolidating, looks good. Coiling up for a move. If this is kind of just another bull flag, we're looking around, just close to $1. That's like our next target. Let's see what the fib says. Throw a fib on it. From the bottom to the top. Our extension, $1. I mean, look at it, they just line up. It's when I see confluence like that, that's what you want to look for.
Yeah, UFR is gonna break out in my opinion. So,
Yeah, that's cool. I can actually chart that now. Yeah, back here I was like, I can't chart this.
it was too much.
There was nothing. But yeah, okay, cool.
All right,
For,
all right, guys.
for
That was your overview. Thanks, Ian, for the charting.
Yeah, hey, absolutely. Hey, thanks for having me, buddy.
Yeah, appreciate it. And that concludes our live stream. If you guys want to get instant communication directly to us, join my Patreon. I communicate with everybody there, and I do instant updates there. You get breaking news early. Finding those gems. That's where I'll announce it first, and then I put them in my Telegram next, and then it goes live to